Good morning, everyone. As soon as we see that the recording has started, we will begin. Look at that, right on cue. There it is. Well, good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Scar. Today is Tuesday, May 9th, 2023, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It is very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. Okay, well, let's start with our Board of Commissioners roll call. Commissioner Bell, are you with us this morning?
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning. And Commissioner Yamamoto?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Wonderful to have the full Board of Commissioners again. I feel like the last one we were a little shy. Okay, we will jump in with Adventist Health Tillamook. Eric Swanson, are you with us this morning?
I am. Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
So this morning we have 9 patients in the hospital, no patients boarding in the emergency department. 9 surgery cases are scheduled today, and our ambulance crews transported 3 911 transports yesterday, no transfers, and 1 transport home. As we look across Oregon this morning, we have 68 patients boarding in emergency departments waiting for beds. That's 7 more than yesterday. And total patients that are being delayed because there's no place for them to go across Oregon is 316. That's 68 less than yesterday. Just a reminder, it's hospital week, and we kicked off hospital week yesterday with a breakfast for our associates. We served, about 160 breakfasts yesterday, and that was a lot of fun. And today is our Tuesday tea, and associates can sign up and be served high tea with all the fixins that go with tea. And I was thinking about this morning. This is a tradition that's been going on at Adventist Health Tillamook for, more than probably 25 years. And so we just love to celebrate our associates and the great work that they do during hospital week. So with that, unless you have questions for me, I'll go back on mute.
Thank you, Eric. Does anyone have questions for Eric this morning? Okay, wonderful. Thank you. We appreciate the information. And as always, I'm going to just take a quick pause and ask if we have anyone from the Coastal Caucus that was able to join us. Okay, as I hear, they're doing hearings over there morning, noon, and night, trying to get things through the committees. So I imagine they're all very busy. All right, so moving on to our Tillamook County Community Health Center. I think I saw Ed Colson with us this morning.
Yep, Ed's here. Good morning, Tillamook County. Today, May 9th, is National Fentanyl Awareness Day. According to the CDC, 107,375 people in the United States died of drug overdoses and drug poisonings in the 12-month period ending in January 2022. A staggering 67% of those deaths involve synthetic opioids like fentanyl. Some of these deaths were attributed to fentanyl mixed with other illicit drugs like cocaine, methamphetamine, and heroin, with many users unaware they were actually taking fentanyl. Only 2 milligrams of fentanyl is considered a potentially lethal dose. It's particularly dangerous for someone who does not have a tolerance to opioids. So today is the official launch of the Northwest Oregon Fentanyl Aware campaign. Tillamook, Columbia, and Clatsop County have come together to collaborate on a mixed media public awareness campaign that's going to raise awareness of drug overdose risk and harm reduction. This Fentanyl Aware program originated in Lane County and has been designed to promote information on risk and safety to a variety of communities and connect the public to local resources. The social media campaign will start today on National Fentanyl Awareness Day and continue throughout the summer to August 31st, which is Overdose Awareness Day. We will, at the Health Department, keep you all updated with upcoming events and important dates related to the campaign throughout the summer. Now, just as a reminder, flu COVID-19 vaccines remain available by appointment at many healthcare facilities and pharmacies in the county, including at our main health center location. As a reminder, the health department will be offering COVID vaccines by appointment on Tuesday and Thursday only. And we're going to continue to monitor variants, vaccination news, and booster rates, and any other developments, and keep links to current CDC data tables on our website. If you have any questions on if you are eligible for another booster or not, please contact either your primary care provider or you can call our public health nurse who will guide you. For resources and support in finding a vaccine, you can call our health department, 503-842-3940. or 211. Once again, isolation guidelines if you test positive for COVID-19 is to stay at home and away from others and isolate for at least 5 days from the start of your symptoms, or a positive test result if without them. Seek treatment as early as possible if you're at high risk of severe COVID-19 illness. It's good practice to continue frequent hand washing and disinfecting of high touch surfaces, and COVID test kits that you could take at home remain available at all county libraries as well as at our main clinic off of 9th Street. Lastly, later this afternoon, we will be participating in Tillamook's Touch a Truck event. Our mobile clinic, alongside other utility vehicles, are going to be parked in front of the courthouse from 4 to 6. This is in celebration of Public Service Recognition Week. So this event is going to allow children and adults to meet public officials, learn more about what they do and how they service the community, as well as get to see, touch, and climb on a truck. We're going to have grab bags and local resources available on board our mobile clinic, and we look forward to everyone joining us. So we'll go ahead and turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Ed. Sounds wonderful. I know Touch a Truck was a big success the last couple of years as it's been done. So I think that's fabulous. I just want to comment quickly on the Fentanyl Aware campaign and let folks know that that this is a really wonderful thing for us to get out into our community, is just the awareness. I was down in Grand Ronde this last week, and they had signs, like a campaign sign, that just reminded people that fentanyl was dangerous and that we're all in it together, and there's help and support available. And so I'm really excited to have us expand so the campaign includes our little part of the coast and people know that they can get help as needed. I had a phone call from a constituent, I think it was 2 weeks ago, sharing that a family member of hers had died from fentanyl. And she specifically said, she had offered to go and talk at the schools because kids are at such risk. And I'm excited. We've applied for a grant through the federal government that would bring education to all 3 school districts through the Our Tillamook work. So I have my fingers crossed that COSSUP grant is awarded. I understand that 2 of the schools are already using that curriculum. This would allow it to go to the 3rd school and to remain in the other 2. So I know that it feels like there's nothing we can do as fentanyl sort of sweeps through our community, but I want to let people know that there are things that we can do and there are things that our community is doing. So thank you for that, Ed. I appreciate that information. Any questions for Ed before we let him go? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Gail, are you with us this morning?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Good morning.
Boy, there's a lot of stuff going on this month. May is actually also Mental Health Awareness Month. On Friday on KTIL, Tillamook Today, one of our mental health team members, Colin Smith, will be on the radio discussing how we can prioritize mental health and sharing resources that are available to help people in Tillamook County. And later today, there's an event that I'll be attending along with some of the other team members here, the North Oregon Coast Universal Accessibility Tour, Thinking Beyond the Ramp, with International Disability Advocate Keith Jones. We are looking forward to it. It's such an important topic, and particularly as we look forward to planning, hopefully, for a new updated facility. And a couple more announcements. Of course, it's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's our walking group at 10 o'clock a.m. The wellness team will lead the walk. We visit a different location in North Tillamook County each week. Please visit us on Nehalem Bay Health, our Facebook page, our website, nehalembayhealth.org, for the locations otherwise. And there's also other walking groups across Tillamook County. And you can find that on tillamookcountywellness.org. And of course, Tuesday, it's this afternoon, Food Bank Day in North County, so that's available as well. And finally, the Nehalem Bay Health District Healthcare Bond Measure. It's May 16th ballot for those who live within the health district boundaries. The bond would fund improved healthcare services and senior care in North Tillamook County. So to learn more, visit nehalemhealthcare.com. Ballots are out now, so please vote. And thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Appreciate that. Any questions for Gail? Okay, well, I will just share that I'm also headed to the Keith Jones event today. I'm super excited about that. This is an important topic. Keith is someone who has lived with disabilities for a very long time and really has an amazing outlook on life. And he is someone that really inspires me to do better. Everyone in our community should be able to participate fully, and there's so much that we have to do. So I'm excited to be part of that event today. Thank you. Okay, moving on, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Frank.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Frank Hanna Williams, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. For information regarding services, any of the programs that we provide, you can reach us 503-842-8201, or you can reach us also at 1-800-962-2851. As Gail mentioned, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and there are two things that I want to mention that we will be offering, and that is our Question, Persuade, Refer workshops. That is a evidence-based suicide prevention intervention that is information and discussion that will leave you with some sense of the things that you may be able to do in order to provide some support for a neighbor who may be being a bit overwhelmed with some concerns about self-harm. And on May 12th, will be one of the QPR workshops, and that workshop will be virtual. And on May 25th, at Tillamook Bay Community College, that workshop will be in person, and that will be a workshop that will be for our Spanish-speaking community. So one in English, May 12th, virtual, and one in person, which will be an in-person meeting, and that will be in Spanish at Tillamook Bay Community College. If you are interested in either of those or have some questions about QPR, whether it be now or at a future time, I'm just sort of looking at the numbers that we have of persons, of Tillamook County residents that we've reached since we started QPR, and it's into the hundreds. I'm not quite sure, but it is around 200 persons in the community. So you can find out more about that by calling 503-842-8201 and ask specifically about QPR. And that is my report for today. I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate that. I'll just give, as I often do, a plug for QPR. I took the training myself about a year ago. It is really important when we look at the health statistics for Tillamook County. We have consistently been in the high range for suicide. We know that the pandemic has made that worse, not better for people, and we really encourage you to learn more about how you can listen for cues that someone that you know may be really struggling, and to give you some tools so you can help. So really encourage people to participate in QPR. Any other questions or comments for Frank? Okay, thank you, Frank. Hearing none, we will move on to the sheriff, Sheriff Brown.
Good morning. I noticed that Ed brought up the Touch a Truck event. That is tonight from 4 to 6 p.m. Sheriff's Office has been represented out there the last couple of years that they've been doing it, and it's been very well attended, and it's a really fun event, and we are excited to be a part of it again this year. This is put on by Tillamook City, and they put out all the invites. And as I said, it's really well attended. We get a lot of citizens, and especially a lot of young kids that get to come out and see all the vehicles and get lots of cool stuff. So we are excited for that. And if you're out and about in town and you want to stop by, it's a great event. So we're looking forward to that. I want to mention that this week is National Corrections Officer Week. Obviously, half of our office out here is our jail, our corrections side. Not that I need additional reasons to show appreciation to my corrections officer staff, but it is National Corrections Officer Week, and I want to extend my how proud I am of my staff out here that works in the jail. And if you happen to know a corrections officer, please extend your appreciation to them, kind of in honor of that this week. We also have, over the weekend, we had a tragic accident, vehicle accident that resulted in many injuries as well as one fatality. Sheriff's Office, Oregon State Police, I believe Tillamook Fire, Tillamook Ambulance, and multiple other agencies responded to that and assisted. OSP is the primary investigating agency. It did happen on Highway 101. You know, and I realize that I'm a broken record sometimes, but I just want to reiterate how important it is, especially as we come into summer and traffic will increase and some will get frustrated. And we just want to make sure that we're being patient, make sure that you pay attention, and please drive safe. We want to try to avoid any tragedy like this and just let everybody get to their destination safely. So like I said, broken record, but please drive safe, be patient. Your destination's not going anywhere. Enjoy the drive. That's all I have.
Thank you, Sheriff. And yeah, I just remind everyone, I definitely agree with the sheriff that summer is a challenging time here to drive, and that people do become impatient. Take that deep breath and just enjoy the scenery. Okay, any questions for the sheriff? All right, we will move on to emergency management. Randy Thorpe.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Well, good morning, sunshine on a great Tuesday. On the weather side, we're looking at some fairly warm temperatures this weekend, just in time for Mother's Day weekend. So be a little careful out there. Temperatures will get up into the 80s both Saturday and a little bit higher on Sunday. Biggest thing that we'll probably see is definitely going to be an increase in our visitors escaping the heat from over the mountain. So there will definitely be some increased congestion along our highways and along beaches. So just be careful when you're out there this weekend and enjoy the sunshine. And looks like maybe summer, well, yeah, hopefully summer is just around the corner. So that's all I've got for right now.
Thank you, Randy. We certainly hope summer's right around the corner. I think we've all feel like we've had enough of even spring, but I have a feeling that we shouldn't get too comfortable in our shorts and flip-flops. I feel like there's more cold weather to come. Okay, any questions?
Yes,
for Randy?
snow in June, right?
Right. I think it's probably not unheard of, and if it's going to happen, this would be the year. Okay, thank you. Any questions for Randy? Okay, not hearing any. We will move on to the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Bell, can you kick us off?
Good morning. I'd be happy to. So I want to remind everybody to vote. I was thinking the other day about how before I got personally involved in politics, I didn't always vote. I confess. I voted in the big elections. I voted if there was something I was really personally interested in, but I didn't always vote in special district elections because I didn't know all the people, or I didn't know how it impacted me, or, you know, there were times when my ballot would sit in a stack of papers on my desk, and then thereafter I would realize, oh, geez, I didn't vote. So I'm confessing this to my community to ask people to not do that, and please pull out your ballots and take a look and vote, because it's a special districts election. But it's really important. We're electing people to all 3 school districts and to the community college board. There's a bond in North County for the North County Health District. There's board positions on NCRD and on the health district, and it's just fire districts and the 911 district, and all of these positions are really important in our community. And so there's a lot of information available online through the Tillamook County Pioneer and through MoveVoter. There was a great spread in the Headlight Herald about the school district candidates, and someone told me, well, I read the Headlight Herald interviews about the school districts, and that helped me know who to vote for, because they asked really great questions, and people talked about their values. And so there's information out there, and I just really encourage people to vote. So these things do impact all of us, everyone in our community. So please vote. The election is next Tuesday, the 16th, and it's very close to, you can mail them in, but if you're mailing them in, I would do it today or tomorrow, soon, in order to make sure they get there. And also you can drop them off at the courthouse and all of the courthouse official election ballot boxes throughout the county. So please call the clerk's office if you have any questions, and please vote. And the other thing I wanted to mention just briefly is, for those of you who are on social media, you may know that we have a budget committee meeting tomorrow at 3, and we'll be talking about the upcoming county budget. We're working hard on it. I just want to say that it's a work in progress. We won't make final decisions tomorrow. We're all working hard to do the right thing, and there's concern about positions in the sheriff's budget, and so I have some good news I want to share. Yesterday, I met with the HR director, and she said that we have just extended offers for employment to 2 sheriff's office candidates. Fabulous. I hope they accept. And we have 5 more in the background process. One of those is a technician who would work in the jail, and 4 deputies. So in the background process is pretty extensive. They have to do thorough background checks and psych evaluations. As you would imagine, there's a lot to be determined to make sure somebody is well equipped for law enforcement. So that's very exciting, because that's 7 positions in total. If all 7 of those positions moved through, that would really help our sheriff's office. And a little background of that story is that for a number of years, it's been very hard to get people to apply for law enforcement. There was a period of time, not very long ago, as most of us remember, when law enforcement was not a popular profession. During the time of the George Floyd's death, etc., there was an anti-law enforcement movement, and people just weren't applying for the jobs, and you can understand why. So, and then during COVID, there has been a period of time where we did a recruitment and no one applied, or we did recruitments and we got a couple applicants, but they didn't get through the background check. And so we just have had failed recruitment after failed recruitment. And also we've had some turnover. People have retired. They've moved on to other agencies that pay more, like the state police. And so we've had trouble recruiting people. So this 7, the marketplace for employees has opened up, and the sheriff's office and our HR department have been working really hard on recruitment. So to have 7 people actively in the process right now is really, really exciting. And, our kudos to the sheriff just talked about law enforcement appreciation. Kudos to everyone in the sheriff's office who has been working so hard through this time of being short-staffed. I know people have been working double shifts. They've been working overtime. They've been working weeks on end without days off. It's been a tremendous strain. And first responders in general, and in this I mean as a culture, first responders, the sheriff's office, the ambulance services, the fire departments, PUD folks, first responders in general, as a culture, they will buckle down and do what needs to be done. So that's what's been happening, is that our folks have been working very, very hard. We've had a ton of overtime and positions we couldn't fill, positions we had to fill with retired people. Yeah. And so there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's light at the end of the tunnel because people are coming back to the workforce. So keep your fingers crossed for us that we can hire those 7 folks. And I'll close with that. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Bell. Commissioner Yamamoto.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Tillamook County. Sorry, I think I'm the one. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
we can.
Thank you so much. So, yeah, I think I'm the one that has missed the last couple of board briefings, and I apologize for that. Things in Salem are moving, they were moving at breakneck speed, and I had several times when I had to testify before different committees on broadband or CAFO issues or cybersecurity issues, just all sorts of things. So I do apologize for missing the last couple of calls. But I'd like to talk about just a few things, broadband being one of them. House Bill 3201, that has had so many ups and downs, but we finally got it through, and which is terrific. So what 3201 is about? The federal government has $64 billion that they are getting ready to give to the states for broadband issues. Tillamook County can get upwards of $700 million to help broadband, and especially for rural counties in Oregon. This is going to be a godsend. But in order to be eligible for that money, your state standards, rules, and regs have to at least at minimum abide by all of the federal regulations that are coming with this money. So that's what 3201 was all about. We finally got it passed. There was some stiff competition from the major telecoms. They didn't like the idea that maybe some of their business might be going away. But to me, it really wasn't their business, because they really have no intention of coming to counties that are large in size and small in population. It just doesn't fit their business model. They can't make money at it. So the arguments that they made really did fall on deaf ears. We finally got it through. One last hurdle is going to be the legislature now. And I'm not taking a position one way or another on the withdrawal of some senators from working. I understand what they're doing, but at the same time, if we can't get 3201 through the legislature, Oregon will not be eligible for hundreds of millions of dollars of money for broadband, which we need desperately to make sure that our residents have high-speed internet. So that's one of the things that I'm working on. The other, of course, is the No Fisheries FEMA BiOp. You've heard me talk about this time and time again. We finally have some buy-in from our federal delegation. We've always had some, but it appears they're really piling on now. So last week we had a letter come out of Wyden and Merkley's office to FEMA, stating that this could have some devastating effects on 31 of the 36 Oregon counties, Tillamook County in particular. They wanted a 30-day extension of the public comment period, which I understand we did get yesterday. So that's a good thing. And Congresswoman Bonamici called me last Wednesday. She had just gotten off the phone with FEMA, and she kind of laid some groundwork for FEMA that they needed to do in order to make sure that the counties and municipalities could really weigh in on the social and economic impacts of this biological opinion. So that's a good thing. We have their attention. We need to make sure they continue to focus on this at the federal level. For those of you that are interested in dairy, there's a CAFO bill out there, a confined animal feeding operation bill, that just will not die. It's been pushed back several times. It's my understanding there's going to be a new -5 amendment to SB 85. We're waiting to see exactly what that says. And so I'm sure I'm going to be testifying again soon on the CAFO bills. Cybersecurity is another issue that I've been weighing in on. Last week, Curry County got hit by ransomware. So I've been involved in Curry County trying to make sure that any questions they have from a county that has already gone through this, such as Tillamook County. So we're working with them as best we can to answer any questions they have. One last thing I want to discuss is timber revenue. The HCP, the Habitat Conservation Plan. You've heard me talk about this time and time again. The IPs came out, the implementation plan. And what we're seeing with the implementation plan, which went into effect June 1st, so it was adopted. It will go into effect July 1st, these IPs. The IPs as they stand cut timber harvest on state forest lands anywhere from 25 to 32%. And this is a real problem for Tillamook County. We balance our budget on the back of timber revenue. We get forecasts from the Department of Forestry on a regular basis on what they feel Tillamook County and our special districts are going to receive in the next quarter, in the next half a year, and in the next fiscal year. Those it is unfortunate, but those forecasts oftentimes are wildly inaccurate. And when they are wildly inaccurate, they normally are less money than has been projected. So it's very difficult for us to balance our budget, really not knowing where our timber revenue is going to be. Sean Blanchard, our treasurer, really does tend to tell us what she thinks is going to happen, and oftentimes that's less than the projection from the Department of Forestry, and oftentimes that's exactly the thing that happens. So we need to understand that moving forward in time, if we can't get a change to the Habitat Conservation Plan and the IPs, the implementation plans moving forward, our budgets are going to be very, very difficult moving forward. We do have a Board of Forestry meeting coming up on June 7th in Sisters, Oregon. There's not going to be any state forest topics on their board agenda, but believe me, I will be there testifying before the Board of Forestry. And it's my understanding that there could be a lot of people there in opposition to the current HCP, the Habitat Conservation Plan, and IPs, the implementation plan. So there's just a lot going on. Again, the most dangerous time in the state of Oregon is when the legislature is in session, and that's very, very true today. So with that, Madam Chair, I will turn it back to you. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Commissioner Yamamoto. I appreciate it. Well, I'm going to use my time to continue to address some of the budget issues. I know that some of you are active on social media and have seen a number of posts, and there's a certain amount of information that I think it would just be helpful for all of us to kind of clarify. So I wanted to start with just thanking the sheriff for using his PIO and his messaging to kind of get everybody thinking about budget. We don't have a PIO and we don't have a Facebook page for the commissioner's office. So he's been able to really bring awareness. And I appreciate that because he's brought awareness to the revenue shortfalls that the county will face. And you have just heard from Commissioner Yamamoto kind of where that is coming from and where those concerns are. Increasing costs, we are all seeing and costs go up. And he also talked yesterday in his post about the increasing workloads for his department. And I think, what I envy the sheriff in is that he has the opportunity to look at one department and to really dig into how is it impacting his department and to advocate, frankly, for how to have the best department he can. The challenge for the budget committee and the treasurer is that we don't get to look at just one department. We have to look at the entire county's budget, and we have to really strike a balance between meeting current operational needs of the organization and the public as a whole, and ensuring that immediate needs are not funded at the detriment of future needs. So it's a daunting task. I really appreciate our lay people, budget committee members who spend their time and energy doing this work, and of course our treasurer who has years of experience at really looking at how do we project our revenues and how do we protect the county. So I think just kind of setting that context that we do have our budget committee meetings coming up. I'll talk a little bit more about that toward the end of my report. But just recognizing that in this process, all departments have been asked to take cuts. All departments have been asked to consider where they might find efficiencies in their budget. All departments are a part of this conversation. Again, I don't know that you've heard from any of the others, but I do want to assure you that this is a county-wide process that's taking place. Then I want to address just a little bit about the annex, because this has become kind of I think, again, a bit of misinformation. So many years ago, actually, the county was alerted by the state that we were in violation of the rules relating to the circuit court and what we are required to provide for the circuit court. And you've heard about this in the last couple of years because we've taken some steps to fix that. We have given the commissioners prior large meeting room to the circuit court so that they are able to process cases. But we have other pieces of that safety and security related to that project that we have not yet addressed. And that includes our ADA access to the courthouse. It also includes a desired sally port for moving folks through, persons in custody through the courthouse safely for court proceedings, and it includes safety of our judges. So when we made that change with the judges, we also agreed to some additional steps that include the ADA and the sally port, and also included some meeting upgrade or office upgrades to bring everything into alignment for safety. So this is not a project that has come about in a short term. It's not a project that has not been looked at with a lot of other solutions. Some of you who've been in the community for many years will remember the time at which, I think it was Mark Labhart, was part of a board of commissioners looking for an answer to this. And they looked at whether or not they could build an entirely new courthouse out by the justice facility. And unfortunately, for funding reasons, determined that wasn't possible. So we've continued to seek solutions. And the most recent solution really was to change the courtroom. That was a phase one of a three-phase project. Phase two was to add the annex, which would include meeting rooms for the commissioners, as you will see when we meet for the budget hearings tomorrow, assuming everyone who is sending us comments decides to show up. There will not be enough room in that meeting room. And unfortunately, once that budget meeting is announced through its proper state processes, it must be where it has been noticed. So we don't know which meetings will garner a lot of community participation, and the room we have is not large enough when that occurs. So that's the intention of the annex, is to provide that space. The other intention is to provide additional remodeling in the courthouse, and that was phase three. And that was to really do some seismic upgrades. This is a 1932 building, which is fairly assured to fall in any form of an earthquake, which we know we are at risk here for, as well as the rest of the safety and security updates. So just to be clear, any building that we have been working to save toward was part of a three-phase plan to solve what has been a long-standing problem and concern as brought to us by the state related to circuit court. So the other piece that's been out there is there's $1.8 million that is budgeted for that building. And that money is budgeted in the budget year we're in right now. And at this point in time, no money has been put into that fund, and it will be a decision at the end of the fiscal year based on available revenues, whether or not there would be money to go into that fund. So the good news about that is that it gives us an opportunity in this budget committee hearing to talk about that and to see how we are trending, and if there is a possibility to perhaps not do that. Not doing that does put us in a position to turn down $1 million from the state of Oregon for these courthouse improvements. So it's again, I hearken back to that conversation I started with, which is we have to look at the long-term viability of the county and the long-term needs of the county to determine the best use for those revenues, should they exist. So lots of things to be thought about in the budget committee. So the other piece, I wanted to just clear up some confusion about tomorrow's meetings. There's been some confusion about what time things are happening. So I want to let everybody know that 11:30 a.m. there will be an elected officials compensation committee meeting. This is an annual meeting of the non-commissioner members of the budget committee. So those are your budget lay people. Will be meeting with HR. The HR department presents to the compensation committee work around comparable market studies and makes recommendations or assists them as they walk through their thoughts about our commissioners and other electeds, meaning specifically your sheriff, your clerk, your DA, your assessor, your justice of the peace, and your county commissioners. All of us are elected. And we do not get any increases in our pay without the compensation committee recommending that. So tomorrow's meeting, they will be looking at, sorry, I didn't say treasurer in there, sorry, and treasurer. So the compensation committee will look at all of the salaries of folks. We'll look at the environment and conditions in which we are operating, and they will make a recommendation to the budget committee as to whether or not there should be any adjustments to elected pay. So if that's part of what you're concerned about, again, I know there's been some social media traffic around the fact that the commissioners and perhaps other electeds are getting big raises. I invite you to participate in the compensation committee. Again, you can enter the room, but small capacity, you may wish to do that remotely, which is also possible. You can get that link off the county commissioner's webpage calendar and listen in and understand the deliberations that go into that and then the recommendation that comes forward. So that's the compensation committee. Again, that is at 11:30. The budget committee will convene at 3 p.m. Again, in the commissioners meeting room. Again, we will have limited capacity, and so the remote option may be the best option for folks. This will be where the treasurer presents her budget message, explaining again the conditions in which we're operating and how she has balanced the budget, because that is her elected duty, is to provide a balanced budget to us. We will then have the opportunity to hear from department heads as well as to hear from the community, and then deliberation will occur among the budget committee members, which again is 3 lay persons and your 3 commissioners. So there's a lot of work to be done tomorrow, and we invite people to participate in that. There may be a limited amount of time for public comment simply because we have it currently scheduled for 2 hours. I don't think anyone wants to be here until midnight. So if you have public comment to make and you have not yet made it, please feel free also to put that public comment in writing to the public comments email, which you can also find on the commissioner's website. And that will then be shared with the budget committee ahead of the meeting, so they have the opportunity to make sure they hear from everyone, even if we end up having to have limited time. I expect that comments will be somewhere between 2 and 3 minutes, although that is up to the budget committee chair, which is Doug Olson. He will set the tone for the public comment section of that meeting. But it does occur at 3 p.m. and we do invite people to participate on that. With that, I think I will wrap up my report unless there is a question. Okay, hearing none, we will move on to our city. So we should move on to the city of Manzanita. Deb Simmons, I believe I saw you on here this morning.
I'm here, Commissioner Scar. Thanks for having me.
Good morning.
Blue sky, blue sky in Manzanita and a beautiful day. We have the budget meeting today at 4 o'clock. That is via Zoom. The City Council work session is tomorrow at 2 o'clock, also through Zoom. Want to remind folks that May 17th is the close for nominating Citizens of the Year. And there is a Planning Commission meeting on May 15th at 4 o'clock. The Mayor's Monday on the 15th, I have to unfortunately cancel that, but we'll resume again on May 22nd at 10:30 in the Wonder Garden, weather permitting. So that's it for Manzanita. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. Okay, moving on to Rockaway Beach. Do we have Mayor Charles McNeely with us today?
I am here. Good morning, Tillamook County.
Good morning.
Just a quick update. Our City Council workshop and meeting is tomorrow, Wednesday, at City Hall. The workshop begins at 5 p.m. and the council meeting follows at 6 p.m. We have workshop and meeting materials on the city website, as well as links to participate remotely. As always, we hope for a large crowd at the meetings. Back to you, Commissioner.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, Mayor Hall let me know he wouldn't be here today. He is scuba diving somewhere. I am envious. So we have the city of Tillamook and City Manager Nathan George. Nathan.
In Bay City. Good morning, Commissioner. Can you
Oh
hear me?
gosh, I'm so sorry, David. Bay City got removed on a week that you weren't here and it didn't get put back on. So let's go ahead and do Nathan George and we'll jump back to Bay City.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, I do have several things here. In our Public Works Department, the first week of May is nationally recognized as the Public Service Recognition Week. This was something that hadn't been celebrated here until I wanted to get it going when I first got here, so we do it now. And it's become a wonderful event, especially our Touch a Truck. So Public Service Recognition Week is to honor the men and women who serve our nation as federal, state, county, and local government employees. And to celebrate, the City of Tillamook is hosting our 3rd annual Touch a Truck event today from 4 to 6 p.m. and it will be outside on where the farmers market is usually located, but on Laurel between the courthouse and the city hall. Touch a Truck is a fun, free, family-friendly event where children of all ages and abilities will love to climb, run around, sit on, and even honk the horns of trucks and large public service vehicles seen throughout the county. So we'll have everyone from state to county to city, our fire district, TPUD, all kinds of public service. So we really appreciate everyone coming. Looking forward to seeing everyone there. The water treatment plant is getting an annual disinfection service done this week. Water crews are also reading water meters, so we ask people to please be mindful of staff and equipment. Our wastewater treatment plant employees are working with Oregon Department of Environmental Quality on updating the new NPDES system. And our streets division is completing routine repairs and maintenance. With the weather heating up, we are working on repairing several potholes. For inquiries and maintenance requests within the city of Tillamook, please email our Public Works Department at publicworks@tillamookor.gov. So that's just Public Works is one word, and then our website, which is at tillamookor.gov. Inquiries are addressed in the order they are received. Our Public Works Department operates 6:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. In the Tillamook Police Department, as was announced recently, the city transitioned to e-tickets, and this system saves a significant amount of time, saves taxpayer money on a significant amount of money as well, and allows our officers to spend more time working to keep our community safe. So due to the efforts of Officer Vanderhoff and our Executive Assistant Larson, Chief Rowell was able to extrapolate the costs. So the old paper citations cost $1,634.95 for 2,500 citations. That is 65 cents per citation. The new electronic citations cost $142 for 2,736 citations. A significant savings from $1,600 to $142, and they are only 0.05 cents per citation, so 5 cents per citation. Sergeant Harrell has facilitated the ACON TASER instructor course to be hosted by Tillamook Police Department. By doing this, we received 2 free seats in the class, which saves us money and helps us get certified. Officer Vanderhoff taught a drug-impaired class locally. This is a required training that allows officers in Oregon to request a urine sample for people under the influence of things other than alcohol when they observe people driving a vehicle unsafely. We appreciate the Tillamook Fire District for allowing them to use their classroom for this training. And we are consistently looking for ways to be good stewards of our taxpayer dollars and host and conduct as much training locally as we can to save the cost of sending our officers out of the area. It's been very successful. We're very grateful for the partnership with our sheriff's office, and I think state police even have been involved at times too. Police department recently responded to a male who was homeless and had a known mental disorder this weekend. The last few incidents have been with him walking around the town completely unclothed. When no other options were available, we wanted to let you know the dispatch supervisor, Erin Stein, stepped up. She went above and beyond to gather clothing from her home to assist our police department, the citizens of Tillamook, and this individual. This helped solve a complicated issue with an act of kindness and teamwork. Our city wants her to know how much this is appreciated and what a great role model she is for our team and ours. The Tillamook Planning Commission has a vacancy due to the resignation. If you're interested in serving on this board, please contact the city's planning department or apply online at our website, which is tillamookor.gov. Also wanted to step back on the situation with the gentleman who was homeless and wanted to just put it out there that we are partnering with the county to take a look at some temporary options to try to figure out how we can help out with some cleanup and also helping our citizens who are homeless. And we appreciate that partnership with the county. The city has a vacancy on the budget committee. If you're interested, you may apply online or contact the city's finance department for more information. And once again, a reminder, if you see something, please say something by calling 911 if it is an emergency or dispatch if it's a non-emergency. It is imperative that residents call dispatch if they need to file a report with an officer so the incident gets logged into our 911 system and recorded. We continually have residents that post on social media or call their people in our community expecting them to resolve the problems. All law enforcement issues can only be investigated and resolved through the proper procedures. And we had a big discussion about this. I shouldn't say big discussion. We had a lot of updates about this at our last council meeting. It's just really important that people are calling 911 or calling dispatch. The next regular council meeting will be held on Monday, May 17th at 7 p.m., a week from today. We encourage everyone who would like to attend to either be here in person or attend online. And those desiring to attend online can find the information on the city's website. or call the city for assistance. And that's all I have, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate that. And I'm super excited about the e-tickets. From what I understand for our justice court, one of the challenges is simply inputting tickets. So it'd be fabulous to have that become an e-ticket system. So looking forward to
Thank
that.
you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
and appreciate all the partnership around those experiencing homelessness. I know that we would all rather not have to have people living on our streets. And so I very much appreciate the work that you're doing there. Okay, and I apologize very much to Mayor McCall in Bay City. Bay City was removed from a prior agenda when he was absent and it didn't get put back on. So Mayor McCall, with my apologies.
No problem whatsoever. So I just wanted to say two things. One, we have our regular monthly city council meeting tonight, beginning at 6 o'clock in the Bay City Community Hall. Tonight's focus is really going to be around public works. Our public works director is going to be giving a couple presentations on, water process and especially on our wastewater treatment plant and some things that they have discovered there and are working towards rectifying. So once again, that is 6 o'clock tonight at Community Hall, and there is a call-in option you can find on the agenda, which is available on our website. The other thing I would like to give a shout out to all the volunteers who showed up last Thursday. We had a tree planting event, so we were provided some trees by the Tillamook Beekeepers Association and by Tillamook Estuaries Partnerships Nursery. And we had about a dozen volunteers gathered together and helped us plant just over 150 different plants, shrubs, and trees along in the area between our campground and the park area up there. And that's going to really help that area create a lot more, flowers, things for the bees to go around and pollinate and make it a much happier area, and working on the Patterson Creek Restoration Project. So thank you for those people who came, and thank you in advance for the people who are going to attend our meeting tonight. And thank you, Commissioner.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mayor. Okay, moving on to South County, Doug Olson.
Well, good morning, Commissioner. It's a beautiful day in South County. In fact, I can, since I washed my windows yesterday, I can actually see the blue sky, and it's quite encouraging. I'll just add a personal note. My wife and I attended the musical Shrek at Nestucca High School over the weekend. It's been some time since we've been there because of COVID and all. And, sometimes people who've been around a few years get down on America and the state, and you see that the state legislature has walked out and all the difficulties in Washington, D.C. and other things, and then the shootings around the country. You get down on America. And then you go to a high school play like Shrek, and you see about 60 plus youngsters get up on the stage at one time or another and do an absolutely incredible job of putting on a very difficult play. It was a musical, and your faith in humanity and the younger generation is restored. So I would encourage people, if your local high school, and I think they all do, put on a play from time to time, go see it, or go see their athletic events and see what our young people are up to, because they're smart, they're engaged, and after that, I don't worry so much about the future of America. So I guess that's my message today, Commissioner. It's a nice day. Everybody should be outside for a while. Thank you very much.
Super. Thank you, Doug. On that positive note, we will wrap it up. Thank you to KTIL for broadcasting and everyone for attending. Enjoy your day.